Why I'm doing this? Well, I like to explore the mind. You don't have to do this by sitting and meditating, although that's useful. It's your world out there. You can explore it. The cave is your own mind. By going deeper underground, you're definitely going deeper in yourself. Most definitely.
In the winter of 2012, after 7 months at sea on the sailing ship Ati, an unusual group of friends came to the shores of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Ivo Kalushev, a Buddhist teacher and longtime cave explorer, had decided to settle in the Mayan jungle with some of his closest students. They were on a unique kind of exploration, a highly personal one, and their views were far from mainstream. The Yucatan Peninsula is the home of the largest and longest flooded caves in the world. Tourists enjoy their vacations in the numerous waterholes all year long, but few of them realize that only a few meters underground lies an immense maze of submerged passageways of unimaginable beauty, hundreds of kilometers long. The underworld was sacred to the Maya people, and for a good reason. Cave diving has always been at the top of the lists of the most dangerous sports, and underwater cave exploration is on a further level still, requiring many years of training and a very particular mindset. It is considered the pinnacle of achievement in this vocation. In the overhead environment of these caves, the difference between life and death is a single breath.
We navigate by line, like this one. It goes through all the passages we explore, and it's our only link to the surface. Many times it's not really possible to find your way on visual references alone inside the cave. If you know the cave very well, you could, but usually, especially when we're exploring, when we're going to new places, you get yourself in such narrow passages that the silt from the floor and also the silt which goes down from the ceiling, your bubbles from the breathing bring down silt from the ceiling also, you can lose your visibility so easily. And then if you're not able to find your line, you're going to die, because we have a very limited supply of gas. Once I was in a place where the visibility got so bad that in order to make sure that my lamp was on, I had to press it to the glass of the mask. And even then I was only able to see the outline of the LED. So yeah, it can get pretty nasty. And you learn to appreciate this line a lot. It's your life. If you can find it, you're mostly okay.
Quite a lot of training is necessary for one to become a fully qualified cave diver. Usually, it takes years. To progress from there to exploration cave diving is a further giant step. The many courses are structured in different levels and are quite expensive and demanding. Rigorous exercises have been devised, allowing the aspiring student to develop deep knowledge of the underwater environment and reflex responses to situations which can become a matter of life and death in seconds. Nevertheless, a lot of people aspire to undertake such training, to challenge themselves, and maybe to find this inner dimension in the outer world.
Earlier in my life, I never thought I would be doing this. I became interested in cave exploration when I was a teenager, and after completing all the necessary extensive courses over a period of several months, I became accepted into a cave exploration team. And in the span of a few years, we did some very serious speleology. We spent many days underground, did multiple camp explorations, this kind of stuff. But I never thought I would be doing cave diving. Cave diving was always at the back of my mind on a list with dangerous things to do, maybe in another life. But here I am, and you never know. I guess when you fear something, you end up attracting it to your life.
Cave explorers are people who get fascinated by things most of us would never even notice, let alone investigate. To us ordinary folk, their ideas of fun may be incomprehensible, but there is a reason for this. A small hole in the ground means for them a possible entrance to a different dimension, to a domain of experience very few have the privilege to see. At first it may seem insignificant, but it is truly a different world. A world of exquisite beauty and fragility, of unique challenges and deep experiences. A world in which lifelong friendships are forged.
Well, it's amazing down there. It's so beautiful. And the experience is like nothing you can find on the surface. It's like you're in another world, in a different realm. Everything feels different. And your mind gets very relaxed, especially if you're alone. It's a very special experience. You can interact with the cave and with the earth in a way which is not really possible at the surface. At the surface, there's a lot of distraction. Everything is moving. Underground in the cave, everything is still. And it has been still for so long that you can actually feel this time. You can feel that you're in a place which has completely different speed. In fact, which has almost no speed at all. And this gets to you. This gets to the very core of your being. It's the most relaxing experience I've known.
going through narrow places, we call them restrictions, is really not suitable for everyone. You have to have total presence and complete control over your own fears. Chances are that if you panic, you're not going to make it out alive. And it gets worse. Actually, you're putting others at risk because somebody is going to come later to try and recover your body. I know it sounds harsh, but those are the realities of real cave exploration. You learn discipline in a very direct way. Literally, your life is on the line. Sometimes we need to use a style of diving that is called no mount. This means that if you can't pass with your equipment on, you take it off. This of course presents a whole new array of risks, challenges, and difficulties, but very often is actually worth it. At the end of a very small passage, you might find tens of kilometers of otherworldly beauty, and that is the real reward.
След като си говори за това нещо тук, аз пускам въжето надолу от дупката с тежест и с тези две бутилки, които отиват вътре. И аз вътре ще имам две бутилки и през това време, след като го вържиш, висиш в тази зона, а ти идваш в тази зона и гледаш от тук, това не го минаш. След това ти висиш тук, аз слизам с краката надолу, ще ти дам плавници, рейзър, ще си сваля бутилките, с които съм дошъл и искам ти да ги сложиш легнали тук до въжето с крановете надолу и да имам два дълги макуча тук с две втори степени при мен, аз още ще дишам от тях.
Okay.
След това слизайки надолу ще се преместя на долните бутилки и тия бутилки ги оставям тук да седят да ме чакат. Местя се на долните бутилки и продължавам. Ти ако потрябваш за нещо, висиш тук и аз ще ти подавам места ако трябва или
Добре.
какво до те.
Ще разбирам.
Тук ще се засилти ужасно много. Вие просто ще си седите и ще ме чакате да изляза, което ще е половин час максимум.
Половин час.
Да, половин час максимум. При излизането също първо ще се подам, ще си избутам рейзера пред себе си, може да го поемеш, но ми го оставяш тук в дупката. В един момент ще мина от долния газ на горния газ, ще започна да дишам от тия бутилки и ще се измъкна малко по малко. И след като се измъкна и се облека, се спасявам. И след това ще се върнем, като се след няколко часа, като се оправи тук видимостта.
The modern equipment used in cave diving is very robust. From the first demand regulators invented by Cousteau and Gugnon in the 40s, we have come a long way. Today's gear and diving configurations are very streamlined and efficient, and the knowledge of underwater cave exploration is very extensive compared to what it was just 1 decade ago. But there is only so much one can squeeze through a narrow hole.
In early 2014, Ivo decided to do a dive that nobody thought was possible. Some of our diver friends had seen the hole, and everyone agreed that this could not be done. Initially, we also thought that it's out of the question because it's simply too tight. This is a vertical restriction going down, and there's no space for your gear and no space for your arms to be alongside your body. Normally we can negotiate such a restriction in dry cave, but we hadn't heard of anyone doing this kind of thing underwater. A normal no-mount restriction is one thing, but having to take all your gear off, including your harness and weights, your buoyancy control, your fins and everything else, that's a completely different matter. We didn't really know if any one of us would actually fit inside there, and this made it at least a possibility that somebody would get stuck. That would make things very, very dangerous. But Ivo kept talking about it, and often when we would pass nearby, he would go to check it out. So one day he just told us that he felt ready to go ahead. It took him 8 months to finally decide.
Even among exploration cave divers, there are differences. Most of them are just divers turned cave explorers. They explore only the big passages, of which in the Yucatan there are plenty. Others, however, are real cavers and push the envelope to the limit of their courage and equipment. This is the world of no-mount cave diving in its most extreme form.
In this section of the cave system, this hole is the only link we know to the lower levels. We have searched for other alternative and easier routes, but this seems to be the only one. It has not been an easy decision for me personally to try this, but I felt that I wanted to improve my skill, and this was the next logical step. The challenge is really a psychological one more than anything else. So many things can go wrong that you have to be able to stop thinking completely and to focus on the task at hand in a very precise way. When you take all your equipment off, you are no longer attached to your life support. Without weights, you are buoyant. The hole is narrow, but if I lose friction with my legs, I will catapult to the ceiling, without gas to breathe, and the sudden change in pressure is very bad for the body. Also, of course, getting stuck in such a place is not so hard at all. The narrow section is not too long, but since you lose all visibility from the silt out and since you have to put all the equipment back on in a very narrow place below without being able to see anything and with no contact with anyone above and with a very tight restriction between yourself and the rest of the world, it is as real as it gets, basically. But I did it, and I'm very glad. This taught me a lot about myself, about my equipment, and it's an invaluable experience on a lot of levels. It may seem reckless or perhaps stupid, but it's not. You become very good in calculating risks in exploration cave diving. And I think that this is the only way to truly know yourself.
An underwater cave system is defined by passages which have been traversed by man. In the world of speleology, there is no way around that. Even if a connection between caves has been scientifically proven to exist, the caves remain separate until a man has passed through them. Throughout the history of cave diving, many people have lost their lives exploring the unknown. Some of them were excellent cavers and excellent divers. But there is still a new generation of explorers who will keep pushing the limits and maybe even further the field of human knowledge. The knowledge that by exploring the outer world, we in fact explore the inner workings of our mind.
I have my fears before getting into a cave sometimes, but the main thing that helps me overcome them is when I see that my friends trust me. When I see this, I start to feel that my place is there, and I know that there is where I belong. Then, when I get into the cave, my fears can't stand the space of stillness and strength of the cave, and the cave overcomes them. And this is the time when I'm free from all fears, from all limitations, and I completely open to the cave. And then suddenly there is focus, direct knowledge, precision, discipline, and when all this is combined, you forget that you exist. You're only in the exact moment, and I don't have the words to describe it.